So it all went like this from my perspective. It was like nothing I had ever experienced. I first saw her in art class one day. She came in with a friend and wanted to buy a ticket for the field trip, which never happened because not enough students signed up, rather go to gay-ass lake compounds. I saw she was pretty and that's all. A kid named Louis knew her and told her I thought she was pretty. He said she was happy. He kept going back and forth for me. Looking back, I see that I was cowardly and destined for ruin. A few days before the end of the year I bumped into her at the end of the day, when we were being dismissed. I actually waited around on purpose to see her. She saw me and looked happy to see me. I told Louis I wanted her number, and she said she heard that I wanted it. I said yes. I wrote it on my arm. She gave me a heads up that she was going on vacation to the Dominican Republic for a few weeks. I was so infatuated with this girl, but I was such a fool. Weeks went on, I graduated from Wilby High School and I couldn't wait to talk to her. I still remember her house phone number 590. Eventually she came back. My brother was hanging around with a girl who knew her and claimed to be her best friend. Her name was Ashley Reese. She said she'd hook me up but never did, that bitch. Cynthia and I began talking on the phone. She said she knew I called, and called me a ton of times but could never get through, only I could call her, which was very weird. She would say things that convinced me she liked me, like when she said she wanted to see me, and the way she said it just screamed she was into me, but I was wrong. I asked if she had a boyfriend. She said with a giddy silly tone, well, there's the guy I am talking to now, and I thought, well, huckety jockety jewbags, she's talking about me. I was such a fag muffin, in love and stupid. She wasn't talking about me. Later I found out she meant some asshole named Carlos who she said was her neighbor, which was probably true, but she wasn't completely honest with me. I felt betrayed and foolish. I would call her every night. I went back to the school to visit after I graduated, probably a month into the new year. Cecil Malcolm brought her to me and we said our hellos and byes. I dressed mad gothic and I feel shame for doing that. My sister's friend Merlinda Dama was there and asked if I liked Cynthia. I said maybe. I knew she was jealous. I should have gone with her. She was/is cute. One night Cynthia told me to meet her at Barnes and Noble's because she and some other students from Wilby, and a teacher, Miss Santoro, were doing gift wrapping for books. I took 2 pictures from the 5 or so she sent me and I stood up all night painting portraits of her. They came out lovely. I walked in the cold and wind with the paintings in my portfolio to Barnes and Noble's. It was tough, but I did it for love. When I got there I waited around for a while, like an hour and a half. Dai Trong and his friend were there. Dai was an Asian fag artist from my school. He has skills but he is a douchebag. He told me there she had a boyfriend. I called her house and she didn't answer, then he called and she picked up and I shrank inside. I was about to leave, then I noticed the teacher and some students over there, and I went over and there she was, playing with her stupid new phone like a little kid with a toy. Her fat dumb ass friend Ashley Claudio was there too, and that a-hole Elliot was his name. We hugged and talked a little sitting there, and then I dropped the bomb. I asked her if what I said was true. I asked who Carlos was. She said, my boyfriend. At that moment I began to implode. The air left the earth, and I was dead in space. I didn't exist, nor could I have longed to. I responded, your boyfriend? You said you didn't have one. She said this was recent, like a month ago. Her friend knew I was upset by it. I could tell by her facial expressions. I looked at my phone dubiously and said I had to go and stormed out. I took the paintings with me. She liked them of course, but it didn't matter. I walked out in the rage. I could barely breathe. I had to go. I had to get away. I was humiliated by her in front of all those people. I wanted to cry, but anger got in the way. I walked home in what seemed like a split second. I threw her paintings out in the street, and later I found one and gave it to her. It was the better of the two, I think. I burned her photos that I printed in the sink. I was so hurt and pissed. I began working immediately on a painting to show my pain, and I still have it. She sent me a text saying she really didn't mean to hurt me, but I told her to just leave me alone now. I attempted suicide the next day. I had nothing to live for, and my hope died that night at Barnes and Noble's. I sent her evil nasty emails saying I hope she died, and other shit, and I said not to respond to me. Cecil Malcolm told me she was upset at school all day. I called her and apologized for the email a few days later. I wish I would have left it at that. Even better, I wish I never knew her. She got in touch with me like a month later, and I told her I didn't want to see or hear from her again. About a year later I emailed her. She seemed happy. I got in touch with her. I sent a few emails, but she only replied maybe twice. After that, I got upset and responded with creepy emails, all of which were never answered. This was during the ADF start, and I mentioned reptilians and Illuminati and evil and saving the world. No wonder she didn't respond. She probably thinks I am nuts to this day. It still hurts, but what can I do? I wish I could undo that, but I cannot. Maybe I will run into her again or get in touch with her and work it out, but I am not sure I want to. She's probably moved on and has a nursing degree. A dark portion from my life that was, the scars from it still echo throughout my soul to this day. Cynthia de la Cruz, I will never forget, nor can I truly forgive. The end.